I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. I want you to get mad. You've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
This government's evil. It's gone bad. A bunch of psycho scientists run it. And all I'm trying to do is warn you. Ah! Let me just break this down in layman terms, okay? You got the world central banks owned by less than 15 families, mainly royalty, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers.
They're all private.
All private. Is they control the banking. They flooded the world with fiat numbers, not even currency, and liquidity. They then bought real assets, infrastructure, defense stocks, energy stocks, positioned themselves. They bought real assets with fiat. They then got us into debt to own us through fiat. They are now artificially restricting the credit to the general public while giving themselves unlimited credit to buy up what they don't have that is left over. And they are now purposely using these walls and hundreds of trillions of dollars to forcibly buy up governments, police, military. This is a total, complete economic, military attack on free humanity. They own the money machines, they bought the world up with it, and they took over the police because if we struggle becoming slaves, they're going to put us in camps, and they admit they built them. We're going into hell. Why don't you write articles, Black, about how governments killed over 200 million people last century? Why don't you write an article about how the international banking cartel financed 90% of that? Why don't you tell the truth? I'm just sick of lies. I'm sick of it! And I'm sick of you being mesmerized by things that don't matter so they can run these lies on you. I can't take it anymore! Woo! Ah!
It's the Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve Bank. This is a criminal syndicate. We're sick and tired of the lies from Hank Paulson, from Ben Bernanke, from all the central bankers, from Goldman Sachs, from JP Morgan. Lies, more lies, nothing but lies. These guys are wholesale thieving of trillions of dollars. Well, Hank Paulson has effectively hijacked the U.S. financial system. He's no different than the 9/11 hijackers as far as I'm concerned. He's a financial terrorist, and he's taken the U.S. banking system to the edge of the abyss, all for the benefit of the shareholders and his cronies at Goldman and J.P. Morgan. The U.S. taxpayer, the U.S. citizen, unfortunately, is going to get the short end of the stick. But now it's a controlled demolition. It's not unlike 9/11, which was a controlled demolition. This is a controlled demolition of the U.S. banking system. Hank Paulson has become the arsonist and pyromaniac in chief. His job is to floor by floor, take the U.S. banking system down, take the U.S. dollar down to its absolute zero. Hank Paulson has become kind of like a Colonel Kurtz character. He's gone insane. Nobody can stop him. They need to send like a Martin Sheen guy up the river to find him and take him out because he's taking the entire U.S. economy into oblivion. Ashton, I don't think you're getting the full picture here. In order to bail out these crooks, the Treasury and the Federal Reserve will flood the economy with trillions of dollars, which will take the value of the dollar down to zero. Sure, you can open an account at Goldman Sachs with your $100 retirement fund. Unfortunately, that $100 won't buy you any of this. Won't buy you toilet paper. Toilet paper is going to be, this is more valuable than the U.S. dollar in a few weeks' time. $100 a sheet. This is $100. I can make dollars right here all I want. Here's $1,000. Here's $5,000. Here's $1 million. It's all going at complete zero. It's like the Weimar Republic. They'll say, have all the money you want.
How did they pick
$500 billion. It doesn't make any difference. It's all worthless.
How did they pick the 7?
This is shocking. You have investment banks that took huge risks. They lost a lot of money. Now these sharks want to go after the retail banks to get their deposits. That's really obscene. the Morgan Stanley looking for a retail deposit. These are savers, people who have worked their lives to save money. Now Morgan Stanley wants to come and take their money. They want to confiscate their money. Where's the government? Where's Bush and Cheney? They should not allow Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs to acquire a retail bank and take control of all those depositors' money. That's that's out of Russia, 1955. America's become the United States Socialist Republic, the USSR. It's absolutely obscene. As an American myself, this is what I say about the U.S. dollar. It's not what paper it's printed on. Anyone with dollars, get out now while you still can.
Always keep in mind the goal is to privatize gains to a few and socialize losses to the many. You have perpetrated the greatest financial crimes ever on this American Republic.
The United States economy is going to go through a hell that's begun already. It's going to be worse than the Great Depression of the 1930s. Goldman Sachs' Paulson is appointed Treasury Secretary to bail out Wall Street and his cronies. This is the real crony capitalism. To bail out his cronies in the financial community with taxpayer money after they've looted the coffers dry in the first place with the huge profits on the real estate securitization, asset-backed mortgages, and so forth. This whole multi-trillion-dollar charade is just blown sky high. Nobody knows what they're holding in terms of his papers. It's absolute madness. It's been supported by the...
Here's a quick synopsis. He says that by 2012, America will become the first undeveloped nation of the world. There will be another tax revolution, Gerald says, in America, marked by food riots, squatter rebellions, tax revolts, and job marches. And on a less political note, Celente says that the holidays will be a toned-down affair. Getting food, not gifts, will be the priority. Gerald Celente joins me now for some Diamond Dialogue. He's CEO of Trent Research Institute.
We're going to go into the worst depression since worse than the Great Depression.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about that then. You say by 2012, America, we are usually called the developed nation. We're going to be now the undeveloped nation?
Yeah.
The president really has no control, nor does the Congress have any control over this cartel. It just has the appearance of control.
The Republican and Democratic parties are both corrupt. The crisis was created by the real power that controls our country through these two parties, the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a private bank whose owners are primarily European. It is not federal, and there's no reserve. Yet we give them our tax dollars and let them set our rules for our government. This privately owned bank has created this crisis, and previous ones, by lending in excess to flood the economy with money and then pulling cash out of the market to create a crisis. This is a calculated move to keep the American government borrowing more money so the American taxpayers are always in debt. And these private bankers can keep increasing their wealth and power exponentially.
I can tell you right now that there is going to be a crash of unprecedented proportions. A crash like we have never seen before in this country. The greatest shock of this decade is that more people are about to lose more money than at any time before in our history. But the second greatest shock will be the incredible amount of money just a relatively small group of people will make at exactly the same time. You see, in periods of economic upheaval and economic crisis, wealth is not destroyed. It is merely transferred.
This is the greatest crisis in history since the 14th century New Dark Age. It does not yet realize that that's the case, but that is the case.
That's interesting. Since the 14th century, you're saying, rather than the Depression.
No, this is the 14th century Dark Age stuff. This is the greatest financial collapse in all history.
They are charlatans, they are con artists, they are confidence men, very old families, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and a dozen other organizations, but that's the power axis, those two families. And I say to the fools out there, it's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to start getting educated about what's happening because we're tired. Hell no, I'm standing up against those that are destroying this country as we speak. And why am I fired up? Because this is war. Absolute, unabated, total war against our nation. And I'm going to stand up against it as long as I live.